Today, Kuwait are showing quite a high level of activity. The macroeconomic calendar is almost empty. However, heads of the ECB and the US Fed will provide their speeches. The expected information may disappoint investors. Their attitude to the European currencies is already changing to worse. Today, a new round of the negotiations between the UK and the EU has begun. However, it may come to an end very soon, as all previous rounds were rather short. The fact is that the bill proposed by Boris Johnson violates the international legislation. However, the House of Commons has adopted it with tremendous adjustments. At the same time, the House of Lords is still discussing the document. That's why the EU considers the international market bill to be a threat if it does make concessions to the UK. However, since the Brexit referendum, Brussels has proved several times that it has no intention to change its policy or give in to threats. That's why a delay in the vote on the new law is likely to have a negative effect on the pound sterling. Secondly, a rising threat that most countries may introduce the quarantine measures again is also affecting the quotes. In this case, the pound sterling will be influenced more than other currencies. The fact is that the UK has recently reported on a jump in the number of the coronavirus cases. That's why Boris Johnson warned that the restrictive measures would become tighter if the situation got worse. Moreover, travel bans and closure of enterprises cannot be excluded. At the same time, Italy and Spain are on the edge of a new round of containment measure amid the rising number of new virus cases. Other EU countries may also make such a decision. Investors suppose that the second wave of the coronavirus may lead to devastating consequences. The fact is that the previous global quarantine introduced this spring has significantly damaged the economies of various countries. Most small and medium businesses went bankrupt. Those companies that managed to stay afloat need a lot of time to recover. That's why a new quarantine may simply destroy them. In other words, the economic consequences of the second wave of the coronavirus could be even more disastrous. According to the chart, the euro-dollar pair is fixed below the middle level of 1.1810. It's quite possible that the price may drop to 1.1755, where it may either break the mentioned level or rebound from it. Advancing from the support level of 1.2770, the pound-dollar pair reached the psychological level of 1.30. If the price fixes below 1.2860, it may decline to the key support level of 1.2770. That's all for now. We continue to learn developments on financial markets. Subscribe to our channel and keep abreast on latest events with us. See you in a couple of hours on our channel with a new video.